So, in this video podcast, I wanted to talk about voting on a referendum, which, of course, is one of the three forms of direct democracy in the state of California, the other two being the initiative and the recall. In particular, there are a few unique aspects of the referendum process in the state of California. The referendum is set forth in Article 2, Section 9 of the state constitution. It states that the referendum is the power of the electors to approve or reject statutes or parts of statutes, except four types: urgency statutes, statutes calling elections, statutes providing for tax levies, and statutes providing for appropriations for usual current expenses of the state, basically budget bills. A referendum is commonly used to refer to the practice of submitting a question or measure to popular vote. However, in states that have direct democracy, the referendum is used by the electorate to challenge and possibly overturn a statute that was enacted by the legislative branch of government. In other words, after the legislature has passed a law and the governor has signed the measure, then the state citizens can, if they collect a sufficient number of signatures on a referendum petition, then the voters themselves can decide whether to approve, keep the law, the statute, or repeal it, reject it. The first unique aspect is that once a referendum qualifies for the ballot per the Secretary of State, then the statute that was enacted by the legislature is stayed, meaning it doesn't take effect and it's essentially on hold until the election, until the point where the state citizens cast their ballots on that referendum. The second unique aspect is that the proponents of a referendum only have 90 days after the enactment of the statute in order to collect the requisite number of signatures on the referendum petition. By the way, the signature threshold is 5% of the votes cast for all candidates for governor at the last gubernatorial election. I think the third unique aspect is the referendum petition can seek to repeal the entire statute or part of the statute and then submit that challenge portion to the electorate. Section 9 of Article 2 reads in part that the electors can approve or reject statutes or parts of statutes. Hence, if those who pursue the referendum want to overturn the entire law, they can do so. Or if they want to overturn just a part of it, they can do so. Note how this is different from the governor's veto. While the governor has line item veto of items of appropriation, that does not extend to sections of a law. In other words, the governor has to veto the entire bill or sign the entire bill. The governor cannot approve or reject parts of a bill. So the voters have a unique ability with the referendum. The fourth unique aspect is the meaning of the yes or no vote on the referendum. And I think here it may be counterintuitive. So once it's on the ballot, the law is repealed if voters cast more no votes than yes votes on the referendum. In other words, if a majority votes no, then the law never takes effect. But if a majority votes yes, then the law goes into effect. The other unique aspect is that certain types of statutes are specifically excluded from the referendum process, meaning that certain enacted bills are simply not subject to challenge by way of referendum. And those measures are the four types of measures that go into immediate effect: urgency statutes, statutes calling elections, statutes providing for tax levies, and statutes providing for appropriations for the usual current expenses of the state. And the last item that's unique is that a referendum takes effect on the 5th day after the Secretary of State's certification. It does not go retroactively back to the normal effective date, January 1, of a statute otherwise enacted.